advocacy. If about 75% of Nigerians qualify for less than 3 million, if you take 75% of the 66, let's take 65 is 1/4, let's take 60, which is easier, 1/4 is 15. It means that only 15,000 qualify for about above 3 million, which is the realistic value to get a reasonable, facility to live in the country. Even with that, it's a success story. If in 1 year, I now give 15,000 relative to 25,000 in 50 years, that is a step. It's a drop, but a step. And a lot of times we in Nigeria, we forget that we have sat here for 100 years, getting 20. Somebody comes and in 1 year gives us 5. They say, what is 25? We compare to 100. And sometimes we are not fair to leadership.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the issue of C of O.
Yes.
To be able to get a mortgage,
yes,
you must have a certificate of occupancy or
correct.
Title deed.
That's
and
correct.
if it takes you 1, 2, 3, 5 years to be able to get it off government, it means that is another 2 to 5 years of waiting before you can get it.
2 things.
Yes.
I have tried to break Nigeria into 2 compartments.
Okay.
One compartment have a lot of limitation. They are not in government. But the second compartment are in government. The director has a problem with C of O. He might not be director in Ministry of Lands. He might be director in Ministry of Communications, but he's a director in government. The director in the Ministry of Lands, they are very few. But the directors in government are very many. Deputy directors, okay? Now, for their own selfish interest, why can't they come together? How does a governor take a decision? A governor takes a decision based on, first, what he knows, okay? What he likes, what he wants. But let's go through the motions. The next thing he does is through the councils, the council memos that come from the different ministries. My brother, when did the civil servants come together, help the directors in the Ministry of Lands to articulate a council memo with the palm set for the commissioner so that there will be a streamlining of the processes of getting C of O? We as Nigerians need to know that in the World Bank, there's what they call walking around the problem. There is a problem, but we can walk around the problem.
Okay, I'm sorry to interject now. You as a practitioner in the industry, and you've been engaged in this industry for many, many years.
Yes.
What is it that we need to do to ensure, in fact, let me start from the premise of how long is the average number of years that it takes to get a CFO?
2 answers. 1, between 7 days.
Has anybody ever been able to get it in 7 days?
Yes,
Anywhere
I'll
in
tell
this
you. I'll tell you. Between 7 days, talking about from the sublime to the ridiculous, and 7 years. 7 years means as long as I'm a governor in this place, you are not getting that CFO. 7 days means, my guy, okay, that's nice. Director, PERMSEC, please, I need this man's document. And it is there in less than 7 days. It's there in less than 7 days. But we're not talking of the sublime, we are not talking of the ridiculous. We are saying
in terms
that
of average
processing time should be less than 2 weeks. Now,
so what is the average in Nigeria?
The average in
because
Nigeria
we have limited time
is hitting about a year.
The average,
a year.
About a year. Now, if it takes a year to get, I'm sorry, because of time,
but there is a short circuiting right now.
Yes.
The NMRC, which I think Nigerians need to be a lot more enlightened on, has come in and said, look, for us to do good business, we're not going to be able to have this processing time. It must be brought down to about 28 days.
Okay, so when should we expect that result?
So what do we, no, they are already now working and saying, state government, Akwa Ibom, I have money to fund your people. Are you interested? If you are interested, let your House of Assembly pass this bill that says this is the processing time, this is the cut down on the fees. They've done all those analyses, and states are signing on to it.
So
we are starting to work around the problem.
So for each of those states, is there anyone that has signed up and said they will do?
Lagos has signed on, to the best of my knowledge.
So they will do in Lagos a COO in 28 days.
And say they will be able to deliver, I think it's 28 days or 37 or 45 days, but within 2 months window. I don't want to give specifics, but Lagos State has signed on. I know that for a fact. But you see, when you sign on to a thing like this, you have to go back to the processes of probably amending a few laws and everything. So, but I am told, I've not had any business in Lagos, I'm told that the process is already kicking in. And the
Lagos is probably the only one.
For instance, has said, if you are coming to do this project, give me 14 days and I will give you your certificate. So we are starting to have a certain revolution. But you see, it's not going to catch the fire until they have actually, some states have seen the implementation, the practical implementation of it happening. So I foresee a situation where in the next 2 to 4 years, which is not too long, Nigeria, but I want to give a lot of credit to the Minister of Housing and the Minister of Finance, because for the first time, to the best of my knowledge, and I've been here for a long time, brother. For over 20 years, I probably ran the longest program on television in Lagos State with Patrick Doyle on housing. So I've been here for over 20 years, and I can talk authoritatively. This is the first time I'm seeing the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Housing work together.
What about when you had Pepu and the same
that's
minister?
where it started. That's when it actually started. And Ms. Amal Pepu, she's no longer minister, but I will ever call her the originator of housing revolution in Nigeria.
So you think Nigerians should look forward to better housing?
Yeah, we have a good window. It is up to us to consolidate on that window. The present government and administration, like I told you, a housing policy, over 20 years we were not able to have it. But now we have a housing policy. Now we have the NMRC, which is a refinancing company that has a lot of money. You can't be a mortgage bank and give money because you don't have long-term funds. But these people are bringing long-term funds. So Nigerians should be a little less sentimental and really see that something.
Okay, I know we got to wrap up now because we're being told we need to move on. Yeah. But as part of the final word then, can you tell us what is the interest rate for mortgage?
For the workers under NHF, National Housing Fund, which is funded by the federal government bank, which I think every worker must insist on going through that platform. They should insist. I really need to talk to them. I mean, it's good I came here because it is 6%.
6%?
Yes.
Is that something that I can get as a Nigerian?
Once you are a contributor to the National Housing Fund, you should get it. And the only way you get it is the federal government must recapitalize the Federal Mortgage Bank. It has been completely restructured. Today, every contributor to the National Housing Fund can have an alert on his phone on his contribution.
Okay. So if I want to contribute now?
Yes. How
do I go about it?
The Federal Mortgage Bank. In fact, if you go to any mortgage bank and say you want to contribute to the NHF, they will put you on the platform. And I think Channels, as an organization, they will look into it because it's a good platform. We must get government to give Federal Mortgage Bank that capacity because now people are happy with the present new improved Federal Mortgage Bank.
Okay. Thank you.
Then the second is the NMRC. NMRC is operating at about 14.5 or so percent. That it can go for generality of Nigerians, but for Nigerian workers, they must insist on the NHF, which is about 6%.
Thank you so much for coming on this morning. I can feel the passion, and if this passion can translate into several housing units, you know, it would be nice. Thank you so much. We've been speaking with the chairman, Forum of Advocates for Social Housing, architect Ezekiel Nya-Etok. Thank you again for coming on the program.